It began with the forging of the great rings. 3 were given to the elves, immortal, wisest and fairest of all beings. 7 to the dwarf lords, great miners and craftsmen of the mountain halls. And 9 rings were gifted to the race of men who above all else desire power. But they were all of them deceived, for another ring was made. In the land of Mordor, in the fires of Mount Doom, the Dark Lord Sauron forged in secret a master ring to control all others. And into this ring he poured his cruelty, his malice, and his will to dominate all life. One ring to rule them all.
Rocket League. The game we all put hours of time into and it never seems to change. In fact, neither do the players. Many of us started playing Rocket League just wanting to have fun, until we got into that one match with that one player who was just a little too toxic, so it made you mad and you kicked the wall and you stubbed your toe and you cried. I've said too much. Every Rocket League player is different, and with a wide variety of players searching for games, you'll never know what kind of player you're going to match up with. These are 10 different players you'll find when playing Rocket League. One of the most intimidating, feared, and hated types of players in Rocket League. When playing with this type of player, you need to be thick-skinned, or just turn chat off. Because, win or lose, they will always find a way to put you down. Whether it's a clean shot or a sexy freestyle, they'll mention how much better they are. And being toxic back to them will only feed their toxicity. There's no stopping them, so it's best to just leave them be. Oh, lovebirds. So cute and innocent. So nice and friendly. And oh so absolutely annoying. These are the type of players who have matching cars, matching boost, maybe even matching names. Chances are these players won't even play online without each other. If you're not a part of the lovebirds group, they typically ignore anything you do. But the moment they do anything remotely decent, they spam quick chat compliments at each other. The moment they fail, they encourage one another by spamming quick chat. While they're not the worst types of players to play with, they're the Rocket League equivalent of that one couple who says, "No, you're cuter. No, 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 you're cuter." While the occasional sweaty tryhard can be a good teammate to have at times, they can also be very stressful because they want no messing around. This player spends hours in training, making sure all their core mechanics are tip-top, and they waste no time practicing showy mechanics like those used when freestyling. They have no fancy decal, no crazy boost, no antenna, and no topper, because all those things could possibly distract them from their end goal of winning. To them, every match is serious and every goal matters, but dude, it's car soccer. Next up we have Johnson lining up the putt. There's a light breeze coming from the east. That's a great shot. Very well done. He's been consistent all season. But, in all seriousness, this is probably the most common type of player. They're the player who joins, plays a game, and never says anything, isn't necessarily good or bad, nothing really stands out, and win or lose, they just stay quiet and leave as soon as the game ends. Almost every Rocket League player knows of, or has at least heard of, the pro player Squishy Muffins. And many of us know of Squishy's famous ceiling shot.
Unable to take it, but Squishy now with a ceiling shot! He puts it through! He's been going for this stuff all season, and he pulls it off here in the most clutch moments. The player to invent the shot himself and to get the delayed front flip.
And then there's the few of us who tried to replicate Squishy. This player, let's call them the silver show-off or the squishy wannabe, attempt to go for anything slightly impressive, which they generally fail because it's way above their skill level. This often will result in them wasting too much time or completely missing the ball, getting scored on, or missing a potential easy goal. Oftentimes these players wonder why they can't rank up and figure it's their teammates' fault. Of course, it couldn't be their own fault because they know how to ceiling shot, sort of. The fastest, most expensive looking cars. Rather than spending hundreds or even thousands of hours playing Rocket League, this player spends hundreds or even thousands of dollars on cosmetics to look cool. Money is no issue when you can look cool in Rocket League. So only the most expensive items for this player because all they want is to win and look good doing it. Sadly, the winning part rarely happens. The Golden Gold is the type of player who spends more hours in Rocket League trading items, opening crates, or customizing their car, basically anything but actually playing the game. This results in them having cool cars and nice items, but lacking the skill to climb the ranks. It may result in a loss if this player ends up on your team, but at least you're going to look good losing. The comeback kid usually refers to a success story, but in this case it doesn't. In reality, this player will go days or even weeks without playing Rocket League, and jumps back in thinking the time away will have improved their skill and cleared their mind enough for them to rank up. They play for a few games, maybe win a few, go on a losing streak, and then quit the game thinking they'll come back later and try again. A few days later, this player will come back and do the same thing again, and rinse and repeat. The best way to get out of this slump is to continue playing and learn from your mistakes rather than quitting, but sadly, once you become a comeback kid, you often stay a comeback kid. The apologetic player is somebody who's been yelled at by toxic players so much that they fear ever making a mistake to the point of full hesitation. After every whiff or mistake, they apologize immediately even if they didn't make a game-changing mistake. And they're so fixated on apologizing that it can cause them to make even more mistakes by trying to quick chat mid-game. When they finally get the confidence to go for the ball, it's too late, and they often miss the ball entirely. At this point, they're so terrified that they end up staying on the ground or sitting back on defense. Every day, apologetic players are abused and yelled at, and they're crying out for help. Please, call the number on your screen. There are ball chasers at every rank, but are more commonly seen at lower ranks. A ball chaser has extreme tunnel vision on everything besides the ball, and this unfortunately includes their teammates. When they inevitably bump into their teammates and end up getting scored on, they generally blame their teammates for not being back to save the ball. When this leads to an argument, they turn to the scoreboard if they currently have the most points on their team and state how they're doing better. If they don't currently have the most points, they'll state how points don't matter and it's their teammates that are the ones ball chasing. Mix this in with a little bit of toxic chat spam throughout the game, and you've got yourself a perfect representation of a ball chaser. There are myths of an ancient prophecy that tell of a teammate so superb, so skilled and majestic, that they will carry you to victory no matter what your rank. This ancient myth foretells that this teammate has been blessed by the Rocket League gods themselves with perfect aerial finesse, godlike reflexes, flawless mechanics, and the foresight to predict where they need to be at all times. They are rumored to be able to receive any pass no matter how awful and turn it into a goal. They are flashy, but are happy to share the glory. To bask in their glowing presence is said to cure any tilt you may have, and while there's no proof that these players exist, some have told of not only encountering this player once, but playing with them a second time. If you're ever fortunate enough to encounter this type of player, take the win and stop playing, for you will never encounter this teammate again. Or, just add them, that works too. And that is 10 different players you'll find in Rocket League. This video did take a while to make, so please leave a like if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe. In the future, I will be doing 10 more different players you'll find in Rocket League because there's a lot out there. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Mr. Phrillip out.